Hi, we are going to get started on one of the April Club Q kits. This one is called Let Your Dreams Be Your Wings. And the Powder Puff Chalking ink colors that we suggest are Sky Blue, Dusk, and Capri Blue. I am going to mix it up just a little bit, and I actually have Deep Sea, which is kind of a royal blue I'm going to use. I also have Baja Blue. I have Huckleberry, which matches this paper line as well. And I might use a little yellow in there to brighten it up. Depends on what kind of look you would like. I might use some yellows, but totally up to you. We'll see how it goes as we get going here. And we are going to do the cutting first. One thing that I have already cut out that you'll need to cut out is your journaling piece and your words. You want to cut out outside the blue. If you want to go ahead and start on that. And as always, just pause, pick back up whenever it's convenient for you, push play. If I start to get going too fast, just hit pause and get caught up. Chalk things as you wish as we go. You can lay it all out, decide where you want it, then pick it up, chalk it, glue it down. That part is up to you. I'm going to get most things in place before I start gluing things down. There's a few that I'll glue along the way because I know exactly where they're going to go. Otherwise, I like to wait some so that I can kind of arrange it so that I know where my photos are and I'm not covering up too much. And yeah, if you feel like you want to go off on your own and do your own style, that is fine too. Let's get the cutting diagram out of the way. And I'm going to pull this up here. So we want one of the big striped papers. I'm going to move my trimmer in here so that you can see what we're doing. Make sure that's all in the camera there. Okay, so we're going to get the hard part out of the way first and do this cutting diagram. We want the striped paper. We have it set up so that the smaller blue stripe, not this long one, but the smaller blue stripe is on the left side. And we're going to cut these 3 by 3.5 pieces first. So I'm going to slide this in to 3, and I'm just going to trim all the way down. And then I'm going to turn and cut it at 3.5. And you can use either end of this. It looks like in the picture I used this bottom part, but you choose. If you want to use the top part, that's totally fine. If you like the part with the more blue in it, go down to 3.5 and 3.5 again. And really, most of this will be covered up with photos once you get photos on there anyway. So wherever you cut on the paper is going to look good. It just shows just the very edge of it anyway. So you have 3, 3.5 by 3s. And then the next cut we will make is with what's left here. We are going to turn it this way, and we are going to do the 4.5 cut right here. So 4.5. All the way across, and then we're going to cut it at the 6.5. So I'm going to turn it this way and cut at 6.5. So this little piece right here, we are actually going to use to make little banner pieces out of this scrap. We're going to make 2 little purple banner pieces. You can see that up here. Just adds a little extra color at the top there. So I'm going to set this aside for just a second. So you have your 4.5 by 6.5. Let's set that aside. And with this chunk that is left here, we are going to go over, so I'm going to put the blue stripe on this side, and I'm going to put it in at 4.5 and trim. I'm going to turn it and cut it at 6.5. So this little piece is just left over. And actually this is the perfect piece that you could cut the banner pieces out of. But in the directions it says to use this, we'll just go ahead and do that. But if you want more, this is a good way to do it. Actually, I'm going to show you right now. What I do a lot of times, fold it, I put the two points together, fold it, and trim. It gives you nice little dove's tail. And then you can cut it right in the middle. So these are extra ones that you can use. We're going to make it out of the other one, but you can use this side, you can use this side. You want to chalk up the end. I cut this a little ragged, but use those for anywhere on there. Okay, so you have your other 4x6 with the stripes going the other way. In this piece that is left over, we are going to make the 2 2 3/4 by 3.5. So we are going to go over to 2 3/4, trim all the way down, and then 3.5. And 3.5 again. Okay, set those aside. And these two are smaller than the first ones you cut out here, so I would keep these separate. Okay, so I showed you how to make those two little banners out of that little piece that we had left, but this is actually in the directions here. I'll show you how to do it. Just into this little scrap, put it into 1 inch, and it says 2 inches. This is just kind of an about. You can make these as tall as you would like, as long as you would like. And then to make those perfect little dovetails, fold it over so it's corner to corner. And trim. And again, corner to corner. You don't want to crease it all the way, but if it gets creased a little bit, it's fine. It'll fold right back out and lay flat on your page. Okay? So we only really need 2 of these, but I showed you how to make 2 or 4 out of extra scraps. And then these little pieces that are left over, those actually are scraps. I know that we say don't throw anything away just in case we're going to use it later, but those ones are actually scraps. Okay, the blue little banner pieces, we need a 3 inch and 2 2-inch pieces. So what I'm going to do is just put this in, cut it at 3 inch, 2, and 2 again. And the same goes for these. Fold it over, have the corners touch, and then start at the corner and cut back. Touch, start at the corner and cut back. And then you want to fold it so that it's length. So it's still long there. And corner and cut back. Okay, and you have your 3 banner pieces. So we are actually done with all of the cutting. We can get our trimmer, and this is just extra piece you could use for a little tag if you wanted to. One way to do that is fold the corners together and then just trim off the corner. That makes a perfect little tag. You can add to your page somewhere or use your extra paper pack and make another page. I'm going to get my trimmer out of here and we're going to get in background papers and get started. So your 2 background papers, and you can decide which way you want them. Totally up to you. I have them both going this way in the picture, but you choose. Also, if you want to make the background purple, you can. Choose which side you want to use. We have a 6x12 that is going to go in the center. So if you are using the other side of the background paper, you may want, if you are using this side, you may want to use this side to go across the center, just for some contrast there. But I'm going to do it just like we have on the instructions. And you can choose to mix it up if you like. Make sure these are all in the picture. Okay, and this is one piece that I am going to just go ahead and glue down. Using my Barely Art glue here. Super precision tip craft glue. I love it so much. I ran out of my ATG gun tape this morning, so we're going with the craft glue, which I actually use probably even more than my ATG gun anymore. I use so many little intricate die cuts that this stuff makes it super easy to just get it on little spots on a die cut. Okay, so this is one piece that I am going to glue down, and then we are just going to layer stuff on top of that. I also want to mention too, normally we do say to not throw anything away. And out of the die cuts, you have tags that come out of the center of here. We are actually going to use these negatives as photo backers, so hang on to those. And that is the first thing that we're going to do. Oh, you know what? I did not finish the trimming. I'm sorry, we have to get our trimmer back out. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, this will be really quick though. So we also have this light piece of purple paper, and we just need 1/2-inch strips. So we need 6 1/2-inch strips. So what I'm going to do is put it in right here to 1/2 inch. And I'm going to trim, just scoot it over to 1/2 inch again, and trim 1/2 inch again, and trim, and just keep doing that until we have 6. And there's 4. Five. And 6. And we give you a little extra piece of paper or a little bigger piece of paper than you need because it makes it easier to trim these all out. So you have 6 light purple strips, which I'm sorry I did not say to cut in the beginning. I normally do all the cutting in the beginning. And then we have a 3.5 by 12 white piece of paper. And we are going to, so it's already at 3.5, and we are just going to cut all of these at 4. So we have 3.5 by 4, 3.5 by 4, pull that down to 4, and 3.5 by 4. And now we are done with our cutting. Sorry about that, went a little out of order, but it still works. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, and if you would like to chalk these up as you go right ahead, just grab the color that you want and chalk them up as you go. I am going to just lay these out and get these glued together. So all three of these that are the same size, and remember these two, they're probably in darker purple. Those are a different size, so those are for the other page. So keep those set aside. I love this glue because you need very, very little. It gives you just a second to kind of rearrange if you need to, but then it dries really tacky and permanent. So you don't need a whole lot. Okay, we got all of those. And I'm just going to kind of put these about where I have them on the picture in the instructions, but I might move them depending on where I have my pictures. So this is one that you kind of want to lay out with your pictures on it so that you know that you're not covering up a good chunk of the picture. If someone's face is up here, then you have a little more room to work with, you know, down here to move it up and down. So spread these out as you would like. We also have, I think these are 5x7s, and we are going to put the 4.5 by 6.5 on each of these. The vertical stripe one is actually going to go right here. And this one will go on page 2. Approximately right here. And I'm going to get things laid out before I start gluing stuff down. Your light purple strips, they are going to go 1 inch up from the bottom and 1 inch from the right side of the page, the far right. So let's just lay these out. And when I say 1 inch, you can do abouts. It does not have to be exactly 1 inch. If you want to measure it out, that's fine. About 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the right. And then you adjust these however you would like. And then what I do is I just line up the pages so that they're the same at the bottom. And I am going to put glue on these just because these little pieces move around a lot once I get going. And I will just line it up with where that one ends on page 2 and go all the way across. Try to get it as straight as possible. And I'll put a little glue on these. This is what I love about this glue. You need very little. I just do a few dots here and there towards the end. But it is very tacky and dries pretty quickly, so you just have a little bit of time to get it adjusted. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and glue this side down too, just because I bump these easily and then I just have to keep rearranging. So again, about 1 inch. 1/inch. Oops, and I got that one pretty crooked. It's a good thing it gives you just a second to rearrange. Got that one crooked. So when Patsy's teaching, she always says, okay, now if you got it on there crooked, just tilt your head and it'll look straight. So we'll go with that. Okay, that's pretty close to straight. And then you want these about 1/4 inch apart. And again, just line it up here. Put this one up. And the littler pieces are done. I got that one a little crooked too. Maybe I'm standing crooked today. Okay, got those on. So then we will start layering things onto the page. These two negatives that I said we will be using, this is what we are using them for. These two photo mats here. But what you want to do is only put, and you can use either side of these, but you only want to put glue around this outside edge because you have that hole there, so you'll miss that hole. You just put it around a little bit around the outside edge. Glue that on. A little bit around the outside edge. And you have all your photo mats ready to go. So if you have your pictures ready to go ahead and get those on there. And then you can start gluing this stuff down to the page if you'd like, or you can get your embellishments together. Chalk those up in the colors that you would like. I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to actually use Baja Blue a little bit around the edges. I like the brightness of this blue. And when I chalk, I just barely hang on to the center so that I can, as I go, just kind of pull it around. I usually go around a couple of times so I can move in a little closer to the center, give it a chalkier look. And then I'm going to go over this with a little huckleberry to add some purple back into it. When you do this and you're blending, you want to make sure and use the lighter color first, and then the darker color, and it doesn't ruin the ink pad. Add a little more purple to this one. I like that look. Okay, and with your butterflies, so you have a larger solid butterfly and a smaller one, you choose what colors you want to use for that. I'm actually going to add some yellow to it to brighten this up a little bit. I still, in the picture, use blues and purples, and the dusk color is a really pretty purplish gray. I'm going to add a little yellow, though, just to brighten mine up just a little. Totally up to you. And sometimes it depends on what colors are being worn in your photos also. If there's any yellows or oranges even in your photo, you can add the color that works for you. And then I'm going to do the top with this Baja Blue. So chalk these up the colors that you feel fit your pictures. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little of this Barely Art glue like right down the middle. And I folded this up just a little bit. And this is just going to go right on top. Your big, I haven't taken this out of the die cut sheet yet, but your big butterfly with all the intricate pieces, we'll pull that one out. And this piece right here, this flower, I didn't take it out yet because I wanted to show you the shape of it here. This is the one that will fit behind this flower. So it makes it easier for me to show you so that you're not trying to match up and match up and match up. This one that comes out of just below the flower actually matches this one up here. So one thing that you can do if you have not punched out all of your die cuts, you can actually just lay this down and you can use your ink pad to pat that whatever color you want before you put it behind your flowers on your butterfly, or you can punch them out and do just the edges like I've done. But that's always an option to leave them in your die cuts, and you can chalk them up a solid color if you want to. For this one, I am actually going to use Baja. So I'm going to do just the edges and then in towards the center a little bit. Not all the way in so that it's solid, but I'm going to give it a chalky look towards the center. And you can always hold this up and see. So match that up on there. And see if there's enough color showing. If you want just a little bit more, go back through and go further towards the center with your color. And that covers up a little more of the white. These still are a little hard to match up. I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. I am going to use just a little glue in the center of your flower. You don't have to have this all glued down on the outside edge. And then we are going to match this flower up and it'll just glue just to the center. Okay. Then give that a little bit of time to dry before we mess with the butterfly again. But yeah, you just need it on the center. It's really hard to get it. This glue is very precision tip, but all you need is that little piece in the middle instead of trying to get a bunch of glue on the edges of each side there. Okay, I'm going to set that down until it dries. And then the center one, since I added some yellow down here, I'm going to do my center flower with some yellow. And you can go by what's on the instructions, or you can add whatever colors you want. But I'm going to do a little yellow here in the middle. This one's a little harder to match up. Let's see, there's two long pieces here. I think that might go down this way. Nope, maybe up here. This is the hard part. Here we go. So just find the spot that how it matches up. And what I do is I will lay it down in that same position so that I know that when I pick it back up, it fits right under there. And again, I'm going to use this glue and do a little glue around the center. I'm going to pick up my yellow flower and keep it the same direction so I know how it's going to match up. Get it on there, and then you have a second or two to kind of adjust it so that it's on there correctly. And then this one has holes in it, so a little bit of the glue. Oh, okay, we have to do this one a little different. I don't know why that one has a hole in it. Okay, just kidding. Let's try this again. You might have to put a little glue around the edges of the flower on this one. So maybe a little dot here, a little dot here. Maybe stay towards the center, just a tiny bit around the edges. And then it looks like you could do a little bit around here. Okay, let's try that again. This hole does not need to be there. There we go. Oops. This is the hardest part of the entire kit, and it's not. It's not too bad. I just had to get the hang of it here. Okay. And then, of course, this funky looking flower is going to go right here. And I'm going to put purple on this one. And it just kind of pulls in all the colors that I used. And you can do just the center of this one. You could also go out to kind of the edge too if you wanted to. But really you just need some there in the center and it'll hold it just enough. Let's get this one lined up. There we go. Okay, and then once you have your photos on here, you space those out however it works for you. We have a quote that goes right down here across the bottom. And I have mine centered on top of those strips there. I'm going to go ahead and chalk this up a little bit with the Baja. Pull that color in one more time. That's going to go right across the center. So there's about 1/4 of an inch top and bottom there. These I'm going to, and you adjust these so that it works for your pictures. But I put this one about 3/4 of an inch from the top and a couple inches from the right. This one is going to come down a little bit. And this one's going to come down a little further. And if you want to, before you glue these down, you can chalk up edges if you want. I like the white kind of on here. You can also lay your butterfly out here to see exactly where you need to put your pictures. There's my cat coming to say hi to everybody. He might jump in the picture in a second. Sorry about that in advance. Okay, and then your butterfly goes right in the center or wherever you want to put it so that it does not cover up your pictures. If you need to move it down here, move this to the center, totally up to you. I'm gonna put that in the middle. You have a strip of these beautiful pearls that we use from Want to Scrap. They have fun embellishments. The 3 smaller ones go right down the middle of your butterfly. Oops, got that one on there a little crooked. And there's 2 medium ones that go onto your tags. You have your little, so your longest blue is going to go just behind your, and if you already have this glued down, just trim this down and just put it right at the top like this one. No biggie. Just tuck that in wherever you feel looks best. Put a little glue behind it. Here's your purple ones. These just add a little purple color back into it. Chalk those up if you want to. Your smaller ones go behind these guys. You can glue these right to the back of this before you glue down your photo mats if you'd like. journaling page, your journaling sheet. And I tend to like to get these kind of lined out before I glue things down. So I'll go back in and glue them down. Your little tags, you can use these for journaling. You can actually add little photos to them if you want. The two big pieces that are left, I just put at the tops of these two big pearls that are left, the top of those. And the last piece that we will add is your ribbon. You just cut it in half, tie a bow out of each of them. So you just want about 1.5 inches left over here. Do your small loop around, tuck this through. Pull it tight, and then I usually adjust it a little bit. Flip those over if you need to. And then I actually fold the ends. Ooh, I have bad ribbon scissors. I bet my kids use them on all kinds of stuff. Now they're not very sharp. There we go. One bow goes at the top here. The next bow down by your tags. Oops, almost cut it too short there. There we go. Pull it tight. Trim the ends. You can either do little dovetails or just cut it straight across. I'm doing this because it's easy and I don't have great scissors to be cutting ribbon with. And then this one goes right down by your tags. And it is complete. As soon as you have your pictures in it. I hope you enjoyed April Club Q. Thank you so much for being a Club Q member. And we will see you next month.